What's up, Jesse with GJP in the house? What's happening, what's happening? Anyway, I want to talk about the second part of my series called How to Wake Up Black Man, Black Woman, and whoever else it applies to, anyone else and stuff like that. I watched the video yesterday and it was really interesting. And if that's true, then you guys might as well just get off your butts and start doing things and enjoy your life until it's finished, because that stuff that I saw in that video is really interesting stuff. But anyway, I want to finish up. I want to talk about vocabulary. Anyway, I was talking to my friend and he asked me about Obama. He said, how is Obama? And of course he was probably referring to Obama's work, but he didn't, because he didn't say how was Obama doing in his job. I didn't, sorry you guys can't see my face so much, but I didn't respond to that. I just said I think he's fine. He accomplished his goals and he's the president of the United States. He's living good, so I guess he's doing fine. And then he asked me a couple of questions and stuff for this in my first videos and stuff about if I was Obama, what would I do? And I said, and then he said, well, he said, Obama need to do more for black people. And I started laughing, and I'm like, what are you talking about? He said, yeah, he need to help the black neighborhood and stuff like that. And something in my mind just clicked. And I said, Obama is not black. And he was like, huh? And I'm like, man, I said, Obama grew up with white people. His whole psychological, not physiological, but his whole mental state and everything. I said, it's not black, And he was like, wow, and he didn't understand. I guess he said whatever he said. And when I told him, I said, listen, I lived in black neighborhoods and I lived in white hoods. And I'm going to tell you, there's a big difference when it comes to information and stuff like that. I said, black Jews, go around sharing their information and stuff, And he said, they do. And then I think he changed his mind and said they really don't and stuff like that. And I even, me and him even went through, he was talking about copyright in Japan. I was asking him how much money did he pay. And he was like, good. I'm like, well, how much money did you pay? And he didn't even want to tell me. It was like, and I said, man, listen, did you pay $1, $2, $5? And then he's going through all this and all that, and he ended up paying like $120 or something like that, I'm like, why can't you just tell me $120 instead of, or 12,000 yen, instead of going through all this crap, And that's my proof that black people don't share, because I'm sure if I was probably white, he would, I just did this, I paid that, And that's what I was, and so I kind of, my story, has something to do with that. So anyway, I lived in Detroit, and when I was coming up in Detroit, it was nice. Black people loved black people, talk to each other, always going to houses when the parents are not home, and it was all cool and stuff, And I grew up, and my parents parents and things, they have some respect for each other. Nowadays it's different. You young guys and young kids, I feel sorry, because you guys are missing something beautiful that was in the black neighborhoods just, I'll say about 30 years ago and stuff. It was beautiful, And so anyway, I was saying, well, it's different, the communication, the information that flows through the black neighborhoods. And I said typical black neighborhoods. And he got mad at me, talking about, what do you mean by typical black neighborhoods? And I'm thinking, like, we're black. Why can't I just say typical and he understand what I mean by typical? Not typical, like, I don't know what y'all might, whatever, typical, but just a normal black neighborhood. What's a normal black neighborhood? Like, okay, neighborhood where black people live in. You know what I'm saying? And maybe, I guess he was probably thinking, I was thinking, the poor or the middle class or the rich and stuff like that, or wealthy or whatever, And I'm like, huh? Just a typical regular black neighborhood. So we kind of got into that, and I was like, man, what I'm trying to say. And he said, well, what about the rich ones? They got some rich black neighborhoods and stuff. I said, yeah, but I'm sure the information isn't transferred or isn't shared. I used to word shared like it is in the white neighborhood. Like, what do you mean? I said, if you go to rich white neighborhoods, you could be fathers and moms, got their degrees, and they could be architects and lawyers and bankers and financial wizards and lawyers and all kinds of stuff, And when they go to work, the language that they use at work, they use that same language at home. You know, and I said, so a doctor, he'll be at work and he'll come home and he'll talk to his wife, and they might talk about his work, but he's not going to switch over to some. I'm not sure, but I don't remember this, but he's not going to switch over from his work. Well, back in my days, they didn't switch over from the words that they used to some street words that they were used in the neighborhoods and stuff. It was always the same, and that's one reason how my vocabulary just skyrocketed and stuff. And I said, so this guy, he'll be a lawyer. He'll come home to his wife. His wife might be a doctor, and they both are, because they're doing a lot of reading, because they got to still research and read and keep up with things and go to these different seminars, and the vocabulary there just gets, you know what I'm saying? And so when they're at home, they're using these words that they use every day, and their kids are around them, and their kids pick up the words and the definition and things like that. So, and so then I used the information I said about a black man. I said, well, you go to, for a black man, he goes to work, he might be a lawyer, and he'll come home, and the chances that his wife might be a doctor or something, is rare, and he might be the one making the money, she might be just staying home. This, like I said, this in the past stuff. I don't know what's going on. Well, now, I guess ain't no black men homes and stuff. That's from what I read and stuff. And I said, do you actually think the language that he used at work with those white men and women, that he's going to come home and use that same language in his own house? I said, I don't think so. I said, because most black men, they didn't come from any rich families and then that already gave them this language, and then when they went to school, it was a breeze for them to go to school because they understood the vocabulary, and within the vocabulary is a lot of information and stuff. And I said they probably come from neighborhoods where they talk about the N-word, this and that. Well, I wouldn't say back in my days we didn't really say that because we didn't really say it. I don't even remember when I first started hearing that word. But well, maybe they did, but it didn't really register anything and stuff like that. And I got a perfect example, like my cousin. I love him very much. He's gone now, and I used to go to his house, and in his house, they spoke just the same regular vocabulary that everyone in Venice spoke, and it wasn't any difference. But then as I got older, he started, because I don't know if he really liked me or not, but, he liked my other brothers, but they're all lighter than I am. And then he started challenging on my information I had in my head, my knowledge or whatever, and I just told him, I said, I'm not stupid. I read dictionaries, and my friends, because I guess he didn't know who my friends were and stuff like that, and my background from when I first came to California and stuff like that. And then plus I was so dark, I'm all pale now, but in the States, I was real dark and stuff. And I guess he attributed being black with being stupid and stuff, And he was one of these brothers that moved. He come, I guess, from a not so rich family. He went up mechanical engineering something. He would make a lot of money and stuff, But he challenged me and stuff, and I kind of had to set him straight, let him know that I'm not a fool. And so, but I know at his job, he used these technical words and these social words that put everyone on different levels and things like that. And but when he was at home, I didn't hear it to me in those words, and I know the words, and it was just like that. And I don't think, it's like these kids go to this school. Some might be going to these nice schools, and they come home, and if they're in an all-black neighborhood, they all might be rich and stuff like that, and they might be trying to, quote-unquote, be like they're white or whatever, act like they're white or whatever, but they still got I guess, quote-unquote, ghetto friends, I guess they want to call them, and they hang out there, and they doing all this stuff, and then, and when they're down there talking to these guys, I'm sure they're not bringing the language with them, or I wouldn't say down there, but, in the hoods and stuff, they're not bringing this language with them, but in the white neighborhoods, and I'm talking about the upper middle class, rich to wealthy,